All right, man, Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. So, also, yeah, hit that notification bell too if you want to be notified when every time I drop a video. There's a couple of things I want to discuss today. I want to discuss where is DC gonna go from here? And I believe that it's certain things that I think is not gonna happen. Also, too, I want to touch on Netflix possibly buying certain HBO Max's originals, and they're going to be playing on, not buying, but they're going to be, leasing it out or whatever. I don't know exactly, but it's going to be over there. And I want to talk about just Superman Legacy. But before I get into that, I want to shout out my reviews. Aaron Fisher, I think this is his name. I want to actually interview him about the Snyderverse, and I want to interview him. I think his channel is very, very important to the fandom and to this community. I like what he's doing. I hear he has a problem with Truth. I think Truth 21 or Truth 31. I was a big fan of Truth, and then I figured out that he's just a bandwagon rider, and he's a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the biggest Snyder bros ever, and now all of a sudden he's like turning his back on the fandom. Now, that's your choice. You could do that. I don't care. But don't be a hypocrite about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to make fun of people who like Snyder now as if you wasn't the biggest Restore the Snyderverse guy. You probably had over 100,000 mentions. Not that many, but you had over 1,000 mentions of Restore the Snyderverse. So now all of a sudden you backpedaling? Like, come on, bro. You're a hypocrite. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's just call a spade a spade. Now, you could say, well, I moved on from it. Okay, cool. But you're still a hypocrite because you was really going hard for it. You know what I'm saying? Not like you was going hard because it was at points where you didn't even think it was going to go through. And you was still going hard for it. So, but he has a problem with him. I think that I like my reviews better than Truth. Let's just be clear. My reviews is much better than Truth because he gives you everything not from an opinionated standpoint, but from actual facts. You know what I'm saying? I think Truth, he throws some facts in there. I'm not going to lie. But a lot of times he gives his opinion on what he thinks something's going to be. And he hated on The Rock. He's a flip-flopper. He hated on The Rock. And then once The Rock got in charge, then all of a sudden he was a big Black Adam fan. And then once he figured out James Gunn was in charge, he flipped to James Gunn. Now all of a sudden he's a big James Gunn fan. Superman Legacy. So shout out to my reviews. I'm gonna tag him in this. I want to do an interview with you, my reviews, because I want to talk to you about where you think DC is gonna go, and that's what that is. So with that being said, let's get into Superman Legacy. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think that's the only movie that's gonna come out. And I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't really think that even's going to even come out. I think Warner Brothers is going to get sold. I think they're going to get sold. They don't have no money coming in. They don't have nothing. Believe they're going to sell it off. And I don't believe that. I'm just going to be clear here. Let's be clear here. The superhero genre is basically on its way out. And it's not DC's fault. That's Marvel's fault. And that's another video for another day. But anyway, the superhero genre is basically gone. None of these movies are making any money anymore because the thrill is over. Nobody wants to see these movies anymore because they're not giving the fans what they want. It's a lot of SJW going on in these movies, and it's a lot of inclusivity and all this stuff, like changing characters. The fans are upset because if you know about something, you don't want it to be changed out of nowhere. Like, what is that? That doesn't, people don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, Superman Legacy, I don't think it's going to see the light of day. And if it does, I don't think it's going to do good because it's coming out in 2025. If the movies are doing bad now, what do you think is going to happen by 2025? If they don't get this together now, what do you think is going to happen? So all them other shows like Creature Commandos and The Authority and Waller, and I don't think none of that's going to happen. I don't think that's why I tell y'all, James Gunn is basically playing y'all because he hasn't cast anybody for any of these roles. He said Creature Commandos was going to come out, right? He said it was going to come out within before everything. And these characters are going to go from the anime to the live action people. Now, granted, no one knows what's happening behind closed doors. But I do know that Warner Brothers and all these Hollywood is on a writer's strike or something like that. And I don't understand where it's going to go. Then he comes out with Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And it's like, you're going to get this guy Andy to do it. And after the Flash just flopped, you're going to get Andy to do the Batman and Brave and the Bold. Does that make sense? It's like, these guys are just saying anything to get people to watch. You know what I'm saying? Watch them because they want to keep the fandom where they're at. But again, I don't think these movies are going to hit the light of day. I think the Flash flopping like that is a big deal. And I think that Warner Brothers is probably going to sell. They're going to probably sell this stuff off. I just don't see it going anywhere. And even if James Gunn was to come out with his full slate, because he said it's more movies in his whole slate, but they haven't released anything. He said that almost 6 months ago. Nothing came out. Nothing. No trailers, no nothing. Nothing. So when people say stuff like, well, the reason why the Flash failed is because it was still connected to the old regime, or like, listen. The way they promoted the Flash, you would think it was going to be the greatest movie of all time. Let's just get that out the way. Secondly, you don't turn your back on the fandom. When you got rid of Henry Cavill and you told everybody that you were starting over, nobody's invested anymore. So of course they're going to move on and they're going to walk away. And people say, well, if you were a DC fan, you will stick around. But like, no, that's not the case. If you believe in something and you want a story to be finished, it has to be finished. What's the point? What's the point of you? I would have took Justice League 2 and 3 over Aquaman and Blue Beetle. I would have took that. I would have said, just do Justice League 2 and 3, and that's it. That's it. The issue is people felt like they were stabbed in the back. This is why these movies are not doing well, because nobody wants to see a new Superman. Nobody wants to see a Waller, at least a good percentage of people, because guess what? If they believed in your slate and what was coming, they would still been going to the movies to see these movies. They don't believe in your slate because they felt like they were tricked. That's just that. I don't understand why people don't understand that. People felt like they were tricked. So everybody on these blogs and these posts, when they talking, I say, listen, they felt like they were tricked, man. So it is what it is. But I'm hearing that Netflix is trying to, well, Warner Brothers is going to license out certain IPs to Netflix. We don't know if that's including the Justice League. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I know my review said that he believes that there's a plan B. And I could kind of agree with him on that a little bit. But I don't think that I think these people are narcissistic people, and they don't really care. They don't really care what the fandom want. They look at it like, well, the fans don't really know. We're gonna do it this way. You know what I'm saying? But the best option that I think that they should have did, what they should have did was they should have just somehow figured out how they could do Justice League 2 and 3. The last great movie from DC was Justice League. It was Justice League. So if you know that the Justice League is a hit and it's a global phenomenon and everybody liked it, and what was the point of you starting over? You should have worked with that, got that done. Even if Zach didn't, let's say, I'm not gonna say Zach wasn't involved, but let's just say, even if he just did stuff and y'all took it and y'all edited it yourselves or whatever, I don't know. Even if y'all did that, you should have rolled that momentum into the next one, because if you could have somehow figured out a storyline to end it off and then say it ended and now here's the new slate. This is what we doing new. But you went about it the wrong way. And that's why the fans was upset. So again, man, shout out to my reviews. And even though I disagree with Truth on a lot of stuff, and I think he's a hypocrite, shout out to him too, because he's doing something that, even though he is a hypocrite, he is doing something that is getting people to pay attention. So shout out to both of those guys again. All right, man. I'm out of here. Like, share, subscribe. You know what it is.